Okay, might as well get right into it. So, yeah, how about that tribunal? Okay, fine, Harry. I won't run on the leg. That will take longer, but it's worth it for you.
Next to the stack of bills, you see a note, a few lines jotted down in large, uneven handwriting, just as the writer was about to rush out the door.
Hang on, I am restructuring my desk a tiny bit. Okay, we're good.
I'm sorry, I fucked everyone over. P.S. I didn't kill him. P.P.S. Gift upstairs.
A gift?
What could this gift be?
I am not drawing my gun. Yet. But I don't like gifts.
Just don't walk into another radio trap, okay? Relax. Not everyone is out to trap you.
Seems she left in a hurry.
It's hardly surprising.
There should be an option to let me walk instead of run. Is there? There does not appear to be a setting that lets me always walk. So I just have to hold the controller very delicately. A red thread. I don't know if I like that. Thread is tied to the antenna. Doesn't seem like the biggest gift.
This window is pristine, at least on the inside.
This is ballistics. She's left a trajectory for us.
Oh, okay. I see. What happened here? +1, I've heard what happened.
Golden light melts away into the blue, glassy darkness of your mind. In it are two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman on the single bed.
What position are they in?
Like the witness said, the man is kneeling, the woman is on her back. It's the night of March 4th and a shot has just been fired. The man looks directly at the woman. The shot's possible directions converge in his mouth. A ray cast from somewhere outside, entering his brain, ending him. The red thread bisecting the room shows the trajectory of the bullet.
Where does it come from?
From the roof outside, location A prime. The glass fractures around the bullet hole. Shards face inwards like a corona behind the woman's back.
Where does the thread lead?
Maybe if you extrapolate all possible points of origin first, the thread will make sense.
Inspect the figures.
The man does not know the bullet has entered his brain. He never will. Death comes faster than the realization.
Have a look at point A prime.
Ruby ruled this out vehemently. The shot would have been heard from downstairs, where no one heard it. The likelihood of A prime has fallen drastically. You may be looking for a sniper. The shot had to come from a greater distance, beyond A prime. Should we extrapolate to include every possible point of origin in Martinez?
Yes, extrapolate.
According to your map of the district, this shot could have come from a wide angle of locations, starting with the northern edge of the abandoned boardwalk, ending with an islet in the bay. Let's call them B prime.
More precisely?
B prime for boardwalk, B double prime for Land's End, and B triple prime for the islet detective. There may be smaller points in between, but those are too fine to zoom in on.
Let's look at B prime, the boardwalk.
700 meters away. The likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, the perpetrator would have had to take wind direction into account.
Let's look at B double prime, Land's End.
1.2 kilometers away, the least likely of these positions. Let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it, possibly from a tent. No, too far-fetched.
And B triple prime, the inlet.
1 kilometer away, a point beyond the docks, on an islet in the bay. The fort is ruined, but the perpetrator may have found a stable spot on the beaches surrounding it, where the concrete crumbles into the sea, as you saw in the coin-operated viewer. The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window, between Rue de Saint-Ghislain 8B and 33A. The angle would have been extreme and access to the islets is questionable, but it is a possibility. Then there's the thread the witness left. She did have a first-hand view of the event. Perhaps she found something in the outer reaches of her memory of it. You need to inspect it again.
I extrapolated all the points of origin. Now where does the thread lead?
It suggests the bullet came from the extreme upper quadrant of possible angles, from a point beyond the roof. B triple prime, the island in the bay.
Is she trying to tell us the shot came from the islet?
Unless she thinks the perpetrator was standing on the ring antenna. That is where the thread seems to point.
There are ruins on that islet. A sunken sea fort. I saw it through the coin-operated viewer.
I remember.
And yeah, very sad luminaria hours. I think it'll get shut down in a little under 7 hours. How did she know how to do this?
She was there that night. She would have known precisely where the bullet hole was in the glass. It also looks like there may be more to her skill set than we know. The question is, should we trust her?
I just don't know.
Indeed. Neither do I.
This is also one of the few places in Martinez we haven't been to.
So it is.
For a second he seems tired.
You seem unenthusiastic.
I just haven't gotten a lot of sleep these past few days.
He doesn't really believe this will yield anything.
Maybe we need to go to the island? I'm going to the island. Are you in?
Of course. I mean, how do we get there? Joyce Messier had a sloop, but she's gone.
What's a dill? Are you calling me a pickle? Are you telling me that I'm Pickle Sahil, the funniest thing you've ever heard? Lillian, the net picker, she's tarring her boat.
Ah, yes, of course. The village. Let's go.
Blink. No. Hey, Gart. Sorry about all the people who got murdered.
Oh, you're up. It's good to see you back on your feet. Did you like your room? I cleaned it for you.
I did, thank you. Big improvement.
You're welcome. I thought it would be nice for you to wake up in a clean place after you, let's be fair, defended this establishment and its clientele from gunfire. Defended may be putting it a bit generously, though. I had a great view of you doing nothing to stop those psychopaths. Then I crawled inside. Bullets started flying. Anyway.
He really wants you to realize that he was also on the balcony looking by, in the danger zone, so to say.
I wish you a quick recovery. Also, you and your partner are staying here free now. This establishment supports cops. The stay is free, the drinks are not. It just felt I needed to specify that.
This establishment supports cops? Time to boycott. Where'd everyone go?
Oh, you know, people don't tend to stick around after shootouts. Turns out they're not good for business.
What happened to the men with the sunglasses?
I don't remember everyone who comes here, and many people wear sunglasses inside lately. Must be a fad.
Okay, so I have to mention, when it happened, you were right out there on the balcony.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. That's because I'm a badass.
It really took courage. Don't pick at him.
Just nod.
He nods back at you, even more stoically. Just two badass men nodding stoically.
Two badass men.
Make that three. The lieutenant is nodding too. Hands crossed.
I like how they were all nodding in sync. Thanks,
No
Gart.
problem. They'll come back. They always do.
Well, a lot of them won't. I'm sorry, Titus.
Yes?
Hi again, Gendarme. Bye-bye, Jean.
It's always about money.
Seeing you approach, the bruised man clenches his fists.
Oh, it's you. Didn't think we'd see you walking anytime soon. Elaine, look. It's the cowardly cop.
I am the cowardly cop.
Huh? What?
He's very, very drunk.
Our condolences for your losses.
Any idea what happened to Claudia?
Damn songbird of misery, that one.
And do you have any information on this songbird of misery?
God said she took off sometime before the firefight. That's all. Trying to remember if there was anything. Oh, yeah. He said she seemed to be in a real hurry.
Move on. There's no catching her this time around.
What's going to happen to the Hardy Boys without Titus?
Titus is fucking dead.
What's gonna happen to the Hardy Boys? Look around you, man. This shit is done. There are no more Hardy Boys.
You two are just going to go back to hauling containers?
No, man. I don't know. I guess the Union will still be policing the neighborhood, but who's gonna do it now?
Didn't Titus have a brother?
Tiberius, he don't want to get mixed up in our shit. Titus has been buttering him for years on account of all this being fun as fuck. But he's got his window fitting business, a wife with 2 kids, and a 3rd one on the way. No way he's gonna leave all that.
Is he okay?
Does he look like he's okay?
He does not. His unshaven face is almost grey, and he reeks of piss, sweat, and booze. While still alive, he has abandoned his own body to decomposition.
Yeah, that was a dumb question.
No shit, Marlon. Yeah, you too. It's a rough world out there. It's not easy being a cop. We were too hard on you. Both of you. We shouldn't have fucked with you like we did. You got between us and a lot of bullets in that fight. Matinees owes you one.
That's kind of you to say. Take care of your friend, okay?
I will. You take care of yours.
A sharp pain shoots up your side and into your stomach. You must not look too good. Luckily, it passes.
I know, I know. I could have stopped more bullets with my leg. I could have stopped even more bullets if I had remembered to wear my body armor. Look, it's right there. I'm wearing the gym shirt. The gym shirt.
The graffito has been painted over the traces of the fight that took place here. It smells of blood and heavy fuel oil. This was Cindy the Skull.
Looks like Cindy the Skull finally found the words for her masterpiece.
The lieutenant crouches, touching the fuel oil with his finger.
Looks like it. Yes. This is still fresh. It wasn't here yesterday.
Heavy fuel
And
oil.
blood. Some of it is even yours.
Heavy fuel oil. Isn't that flammable?
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no.
Sorry. Whew. Close call.
We're not lighting it on fire. Bad idea, Fingers.
Officer, care to play a game with the lonely old man? Actually, never mind. Wouldn't be the same.
Where's Renee?
The prick is gone. I can barely believe it. But he's really gone.
He is trying to retain his jolly facade, but the underlying sadness casts a deep shadow over his wrinkled face.
Rip.
Yes. In peace.
Ask about the
Officer,
Union.
I just can't do this right now. The Union, it just doesn't matter anymore.
Sorry, Gaston. Okay, let's head over to the church. We can do JJ's audio engineer check.
Oh, hey man, it's good to see you. Goodbye. Good morning, comrade. Yeah. Good morning, comrade. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get the clothes ready for this. Okay, so the gauntlets are 200 facing. This appears to be all she's got, Captain.
Good morning, comrade. Yeah. Huh?
Here's an idea. Say what you said before, the exact same thing. Or wait, say something that's only marginally different.
The Fluxifier? Where is that?
Let it
As
crow.
you fiddle with the knobs on the mixer, the young man stares with amazement.
Copman can ride the knobs! So cool!
Whatever it is you did, it seems to have helped slightly.
Oh,
Maybe now you'll be able to make sense of it.
huh. Fiddling with the knobs.
Side chain
worked.
heat.
I fiddled with the knobs. Sidechain? What does it even mean?
Listen, you can use the compressor to select between which track it's compressing, either the auxiliary signal or the main input from the tape. Make it alternate between the signals. The compressor controls the gain based on the level of the signal on the aux sidechain input. It will allow maintaining a loud sound without peaks that fill up all the headspace.
Okay, Egg, you need to start sidechaining it.
Sidechaining it, you said?
Then he puts on his headphones and his eyes go wide. wider than they've ever gone on drugs. He starts jumping up and down with bliss in total silence, still listening to his headphones.
Hey, what did you do to Egghead Cop Man? Did you break him?
Just wait and see.
Are you ready, pussy?
Noid straightens his back, ready for the beat.
I was born ready, Egg.
Now this is hypnotic.
The audio assault is glorious. The speed freak dances on the stage, intensely waving his hand in the air.
This is beauty! This is life!
What in the world is going on? The way melody and bass flow together, it's unnatural.
Your body is taking a beating from the low frequencies crashing over you. It's making you feel alive again.
This one is for the hypnotic generation.
Introducing the ultimate sound!
We have tamed the sound, made it our own.
God damn it. This dance club idea might just work out.
DeLorean Church! The place to be! Pump it! Pump it!
Who will be the innocence of hardcore hypnotic dance music?
Bye, Egghead.
Yes, what is it?
Yeah, I'm capped on logic. Nothing we can do on that front. Unless talking to a cell will fix that. Reaction speed. Okay, okay. I might have all the reaction speed I can get, but it's always good to check. Yep, I do.
Welcome back.
O pasado
Yes.
de agente. It flutters by your ear. It's what the Zemoyaki, the Gradian community in Revachol, call a person who never breaks under interrogation. It's an organized crime term.
O pasare de agente.
Excuse me?
She's attempting to remain calm, but the phrase made her flinch.
I remember now. The Zemulyaki term, for someone who won't break under questioning. An organized crime term.
What do you mean?
The Silver Bird.
Alright. My father was a Zemyaki. He died years ago. He was a bad man. Not a lot of good things to say about him and what he did. He bought the family a huge house, so we got to live, at least temporarily, in a giant castle in Jamrock. And then he died.
What happened next?
What do you think? The competition came and took everything away. It was like in a war zone. So after his death, we had nothing left, and we were in danger. My mother had to change her name, mine too. We left it all behind.
That's nice to hear.
Gee, thanks. Now, was there anything else on your mind?
I got shot.
Ouch. I did notice you limping, but I thought maybe it was your thing or something. When I was 16, I used to date this guy who had a limp, but it only showed when he was sober. So I guess it wasn't real or something. I don't know. Anyway, shot in the leg? I'm sorry. Man, that must suck.
I don't think that will help. Okay, so now we want to fast travel south.
Our tenant, the policeman. I can wash it for you.
Hell yeah. No, we must run around ceaselessly.
I could use a breather before another rainy day begins.
Okay.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do. Must say, I'm proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you'll have an easier life in your hands.
I got shot.
Even I can see that. I told you not to bring your trouble with you, policeman. We've got troubles of our own here.
Also, I think I already bought that from Sea Leg.
Though I suppose you took the worst of it. Turns out you were your own ill omen.
I guess you were right. The men with guns were coming for me after all.
I'm not sure those were the loss of the men with guns either. They are always more coming for your kind, officer.
Oh, I did not have that already.
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
She sounds almost disappointed with you, reprimanding you for falling and hurting your knee.
I got shot in the foot. It was pretty bad ass.
Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
You didn't only get shot.
I dodged the second shot. I can also get not shot.
Well, good for you.
Anyway, I have a question for you.
Of course. Can I help you with something?
We need to get to that island.
That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tar just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead.
What's that on the island?
Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war. For the communards. An anti-aircraft gun, I think. Bombed to bits in the landing. I haven't been there myself. Always steered clear of it.
Hasn't been there herself. Who has then?
You said you haven't been there. Who has then, if not you?
My husband used to drink there. Him and his drinking buddies. Always seemed like a bad place to drink to me. People died there during the landing, you know. My mother told me.
Didn't people die everywhere during the landing?
The kids sometimes go there too. I know they do, on rafts. I tell them not to, but they bring back old bullet casings and such.
Which kids?
The twins. God forbid they bring the girl along on some rickety barge.
Can we maybe ask your twins about that place before we go? Would that be alright?
Be my guest. They have a strange way of talking. See if you can get anything useful out of them. I seldom do.
2 days of sunshine. I just got a bacterial infection. No, that's too corny, even for Harry. Can we borrow your boat?
If you promise to bring it back. And no scraping the hull. I just got it nice and yellow. And no drinking on the boat. And no joyriding either.
Of course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two. Official police business.
Aye.
The crow's feet disappear from the corners of her eyes as she smiles at you.
Anything I should know about getting there?
Well, most of it's sunken. Underwater. That means concrete underwater. Cut your boat if you're not careful. Be sure to enter from the south side. Water's deep there.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.
Good to know. Oh, she just bought the net, too. Alright. Probably useless
The
twins.
scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
Okay, kids, you've been to that island, right?
On that island?
Yes, that one.
That's, nothing. It's just a seafort and some plants. You can take a raft there. It's great. And we make a fire. We make a fire.
Fire.
Mm-hmm. Gather the sticks for the fire. And bullets. Or not real bullets, empty bullets.
And then?
There are lights. The fire guy comes and asks us to put the fire out.
Your nerve endings sting from the mention of a guy.
Someone lives on the island?
No. Yes.
Let's go with yes.
Why is he the fire guy?
Because he asks to put the fire out.
Why does he ask you to put the fire out?
I don't know. He doesn't like it. He don't like people to be there. You shouldn't go. Yes.
You mentioned something about lights.
I don't know.
Did you mean there are electrical lights?
Yes.
Anything else you can tell me about this guy? Age? Does he live there?
No, he doesn't live there. I don't think. No, he lives there. Been there twice, 2 times.
2 times.
He doesn't live there. He isn't there sometimes.
Anything else? What does this guy look like?
I don't know.
How come?
We ran. He just yelled we shouldn't be there.
Your father used to go to that island too, didn't he?
Our father killed himself. Don't say that, he didn't. I'm sorry.
Is that all you know?
There's
Lights, fire guy. We should check up on that island.
Alright, kids.
Be careful out there. Sea's calm as death, but...
A skiff with a small steering engine in the back floats on the calm mirror of the sea. Its 2 seats are empty. Once you get in, that's it. One pull of the starter handle, and you're off into the bay. Have you made all the necessary preparations? Remember what the net picker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on...
Okay, so what more could I do? That. Not doing either of those. I don't really care about that. Let's just move it.
The skiff, once you get... Have you... Remember what the net picker said.
Doesn't matter if Harry was Leputemonte's agent, because he isn't now. He will also fall straight into the sea standing like that. oil slick. Or I guess an oil spill.
The boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant turns the engine off. Then there's silence.
Let's go.
Makeshift bridge. Rusted
The
chain.
chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast.
This leads to the depot on Land's End.
Ah, yes, so it seems.
What do you think it was used for?
For bringing munitions to the island, maybe? And supplies? You could also lock the bay when you raise the chain.
Lock it from whom?
From enemies. Enemies of the commune of Revachol. This sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe.
Alright, looks like I have to go up the stairs. Ancient flammable. Yep, fuel is leaked out of the tank. I'm sure if I had higher logic or something, I'd be able to use that information. Let's do that actually. Let's get the logic hat. Why do I still have 2 bullets? Kim used one of them to save my life. Yeah, I think this is okay. ICM. No way to get down either. Okay, guess we have to go in. Tim is a bro. Nope, that's far away. An armament rest. Collapsed stairs, you say? Books. Dishes. Candles on a rangefinder.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized. Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures.
Animal Adventures?
Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories. You find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Okay, let's conceptualize. Okay, that's all the conceptualization we've got.
Serialized. Oh yes,
It
under
worked.
the bed, there is a rather extensive collection of critical theory. That is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Ouzia. It's not exactly like reading.
Look, Kim, powerful communist theory, rigorous and truthful.
Ouzia. I agree. Humanitarian sciences. It stands out. Not a lot of critical theory around in Ravachol West.
Wasn't there some in the communist students' room?
A student in the apartment building seemed to have some as well. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Stepan and his inframaterialist thought, so I think we can rat him out a bit.
Well, yes. That one student did.
The little books seem inconsequential next to the big pile of frivolous entertainment covering them.
Critical theory books. What do you think this means?
Whoever has lived here, they have some education and a certain set of interest.
An army surplus scarf. Actually, wait, let's get the conceptualization stuff out. I wish this was more organized. Like, I can't really tell what's a shirt versus a not shirt. A jacket.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracol blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
How recently?
You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses, no longer able to hear yourself speak.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead.
Just an
You
hour.
face the concrete wall. There's less light there, in the dark corner. Like a dog, you lie there. You didn't realize how tired you were. Your body is still nowhere near healed. The blanket feels cold. The entire room does. Concrete and cold. Minutes pass. Half an hour maybe. The sounds of the sea beyond grow distant. Your eyelids close until you feel yourself standing up in the darkness, right next to the mattress. Slowly, the world begins to hatch from the blackness. It's evening.
Evening?
Sleep.
Kim. Also didn't get all of my checks done. Hey, look, it's Krasnozov. Hey, Romby. We just missed out on checks because the game is being mean. Wait, how do I go outside? What? I've been well. I'm sad because this mobile gacha game I like is being shut down later today before I could properly finish it and everything. Oh, here. Okay. Okay. See, I couldn't explore all that because the game decided no. It's sleepy time. I should have done everything that wasn't the bet first, but I didn't know. Also, why does this feel like the end of the game? My UI is gone. Like it feels like something very big is about to happen. Is Kim dead? Kim isn't dead, right? Tell me Kim's not dead. I never even got to ask him if he was gay. Whose footprints? Why am I walking on water?
Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state turns around to face you. She has an airship airbag in her hand. She seems to be in a hurry.
Whale. The whale. That was such a good game. Hey, Baron.
Okay, don't say you need to talk right away. Melt the ice first. This way you're already talking.
But I'm meeting the real Dolores Day? In the flesh, question mark?
But you don't even want to talk to her. She would only be cold and mean. Let her go.
Something is off.
I'm sorry. I was heading to the aerodrome. I just don't have time to...
She means she doesn't have time to tend to your emotions.
You don't have time to tend to my emotions?
She sighs and looks over her shoulder. What are you doing? Stop saying things like that.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Morova. To live there, in Grad. It's 1 million kilometers away, Harry. Might as well be another lifetime.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really good, actually. Both professionally and romantically. I've come to a fulfilling and peaceful period in my life. Well, how are you doing, Harry?
I'm in my head. I miss you.
Well, I'm in my head too. We're all in our heads.
Okay, I'll go back into mine then.
She doesn't reply. Desperation is gearing up. This is everything I always warned you about.
What's in the bag?
Just my scepter, my globe cruciger, a spare silk gown, a toothbrush, travel documents, the crown of immortality.
Crown of immortality? Aren't you already wearing one?
Oh, this is just a wreath. The crown of immortality is made of rarefied light, mana and raw palladium. It was passed on to me by the rulers of late antiquity.
She looks at the suitcase, not knowing what more to say. Then, over her shoulder, silence. Her nuptial gown flows in the wind, wraps around her holy body.
Anyway.
Can you stay for a moment? We need to talk.
No, Harry. No. I don't want a massive, epic showdown. I want to go to the aerodrome. I have tickets for the 10:20 flight to Morova. Really, we don't have anything to talk about anymore. Every combination of words has been played out. The atoms don't form us anymore. Us, our love, our unborn daughters, it's all gone. I have to go to the aerodrome. I have to leave Revachol and you. And you have to be alone. In hell, forever. That's just the way it is.
Oh God, whatever you do, don't try to kiss her yet. Not after that. You're still reeling. You'll fall over if you try now.
I bought you this figurine of a headless fallen rider.
I don't want it. It looks expensive. I don't want it.
I thought you liked figurines. I thought the figurines were for getting you back.
That's not what figurines do, Harry.
But then the figurines don't do anything.
She looks at the headless found rider between your fingers and doesn't know what to say. The figurines don't do anything? Anything at all. But I thought the historic figure she had.
She liked war games and figurines?
Yes, I thought it would be good. A form of communication where words have failed. Yes, it was a good idea. But she felt obliged by the headless phone rider to give you things in return. Things she no longer wants to give you. So she refused. That's how it goes. Your figurine rider idea was naive.
Okay, I won't give you things then.
I didn't ask for things. It's too late to give me anything. I would have liked the headless fallen rider back then.
I get the feeling you're not really Dolores Day.
I don't know what you mean. Dolores Day?
You're the X something.
Wasn't I Dolores Day just a second ago? Now I'm the X thing? You're confusing me. Look, I have to be at the Lausanne Aerodrome at 10:20 p.m. I still have a light rail to catch. I haven't even bought the tickets yet.
We all told you. Everyone warned you.
Who, everyone?
Everyone.
Literally all of you.
I'm glad we're having this conversation. I'm getting so much closure.
I'm glad too, but I have to go.
What? She does not look back. Instead, eyes her fingernails. 1,000 times you've beaten animal. 1,000 times you've raised that fabric. What is underneath has always calmed you, centered you, made you sane.
You're the morning.
The morning? I don't understand.
No, I meant mourning. I'm grieving, but you're not even dead.
Oh my god, Harry, stop. I don't want to hear anything about the morning. Mourning someone who's still alive. Any of that. I can't do that anymore. I'm not 80 years old, I'm 32. People my age are not supposed to mourn.
On second thought, you're Dolores Day, Queen Regnant of the territories of Mundi and Insulinda, and nothing else.
Yes, Harry, I am. Things have gotten much better for me, now that I am the ruler of the known world. Oh God, it's already so late. I have to go, Harry.
I know you still love me. The slow steps forward.
With your feet trembling from the steps you took, tepid and fearful, you stand against her body close to you, radiating warmth. With your eyes closed, you move your lips on her mouth. She is not kissing you back.
But I succeeded.
This was not about failure or success. This was always going to be horror. I should not have suggested it, and you should not have listened to me.
You're not kissing me back.
The moment is ending. She is going to move her face away from yours. Trying hard not to look at you. When she withdrew and you held on to her hand, she tried not to look at your face and see the expression there. Brother, you should put me in front of a firing squad. I have no words for how I failed you.
That's it then.
No, Harry. Not yet. There is one more thing you have to see. I'm pregnant.
Is it mine?
Of course not. I terminated yours. Don't you remember? You poor fuck. Poverty-stricken fuck. Now, go ahead. Ask me more questions. Let's talk about something else.
No, this has to end. Do the last one. More questions. Ask more.
But you said I have a vast soul and you'll always come back to it.
We both said a lot of things. We were very young.
It was her. I can feel it. I can see it in her tender, long fingers, in her wrists. Her hand wrote it, said those things.
It doesn't matter anymore.
We will always have what was. I will always be influenced by it. But it is over. Now only total, unrelenting hell remains.
But that's not a very good way for things to be.
It's not. But...
But what? Tell me there's something good.
I don't know why I said but. There is no but.
That's it?
That's it, yes. We've talked about it a million times. You will get over it, just like I did. People do. Things will get good for you again.
That's different from at the start when she said that I would always be in hell.
We're in hell. Stop. You're only making it worse for him. You never help with anything.
You're right. I don't even remember who you are anymore.
See? It just takes some time. For you, it will take something like 20 years, maybe? It was hard for me, too. I used to think I couldn't live without you. But I can.
She keeps her shoulders squared and her back straight. But it's clear you're still making her sad. It's not. It's just not possible. It's like eating rocks. You just can't do it.
Your innocence, Dolores Day. I'm sorry I made you sad.
It's okay.
But it doesn't have to be like this.
No, Harry. We can't.
Why?
We already tried again, and it didn't work.
Is that how it is now? We should just try all good things twice and then give up. By that logic, not you too.
Okay, I won't ask anymore.
She does not seem relieved at all.
I have to, Harry. Really, I've already missed the 8:30. I'm gonna go now.
I was wrong. You don't have power over her anymore. You shouldn't have said that. I am wrong about everything. You should go on without me.
Okay, I understand.
No, you don't. You're just being a martyr. And I'm really going now. The time is up. I must be on the 10:20 flight.
Will we ever see each other again?
I won't see you, but you will see me.
How can that be?
Oh, Harry. This is a dream. Can't you see? I'm already in Morova by now. Who knows how long ago this happened? A year? 2? 5 years ago?
How will I see you again then?
Right here, tomorrow night. Once this dream starts happening, it keeps happening. 3 times a week, at least. And Harry, it really, really looks like it started happening again. There's the video rental. I'm suffocatingly beautiful. And young. And I smell of tutti frutti chewing gum. Like I did that time when I asked you for forgiveness. After leaving you the first time. So long ago.
But this is intolerably bad.
Oh yes, this is real darkness. It's not death or war or child molestation. Real darkness has love for a face. The first death is in the heart, Harry. See you tomorrow.
Getting rejected in his dreams. That's so real of you, Harry.
How was your sleep?
Actually, it was total annihilation, Kim.
I did not want to wake you. Perhaps I should have? Was it a job dream?
No, an ex-wife dream.
The lieutenant nods solemnly. I understand. We've all been through similar things. It can be overcome.
Let's comb the entire island centimeter by centimeter. That's the next step in the task chain.
Okay.
He's still worried. You must have really threshed and squealed in your sleep. An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Where do these wires lead?
Downstairs, somewhere?
What kind of generator is this?
Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout, the kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold.
If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator.
Tap
The
inside.
hollow ring, the canister is empty. The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch.
Pull the rope.
The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
You know, chemicals. Those things that have smells. I imagine it means like industrial smell.
That should do it.
Also, wait, how can we go full Fallon? +1 hand-eye coordination from a shirt. That's not bad. It's a lot of magnesium.
You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one, a heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small.
How do we open this?
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
You're right, we opened the big one. Do you see controls anywhere?
I think there's a console just southeast. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan.
What's on the other side?
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable.
Hatch is jammed shut. Oh, what are you? Why are you yellow? Let's go outside here first. A firing slit. Okay, I'll just walk up there. Oh yeah, that's a pretty big hit. No X something's in sight. Oh, the pain in your pelvis makes you wince. Then you continue. The inside of the fortress. Artillery map. Medicine cabinet. More fuel.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
This looks like a good place to aim from.
Inspect the wall.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window. Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Look through the hole.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. Trepidation. a tingling feeling in your stomach. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
On the left?
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Gislain, 33A and 33B.
On the right.
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. Rue de Saint-Gislain, 10. The doomed commercial area.
And between the two?
The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop. Sunlight reflecting off the upstairs window of Clausia's room.
There it is.
Do you have a line of sight to the window?
Yes, there's an opening between 33A and 10. I can see to the roof.
I can see it. Through the scope of a rifle. The shooter would be prone, lying on a mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure. I think we have it. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Better late than never.
Nothing pointed here. Many leads pointed elsewhere.
You're right.
He looks north, over the fortification. Then, at them, he's conflicted for a second. There's guilt there. It takes him a moment to rationalize it away.
Could the shooter still be here?
Where?
Oh, you're suggesting that you did the murder, Harry? Because yeah, I don't think so. Let's just go with on this island.
He does not answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and says he feels uncomfortable suddenly.
We should move now.
I'm listening to Kim. We should move. If Kim says we move now, we move immediately. Oh, 50 real for a liter. What the hell are these prices? Someone's watching. Sounds like we should get that blast door open.
Green paint flecks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
The console of an antique computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. They terminate here.
Could this open the blast door?
I think, yes. Let's see. That one. The emergency open.
Let's turn on the
lighting
lights.
in the room turns on with a sizzle, a dim ambient orange.
Emergency open.
The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
I'm not sure I want to turn on the radio, but also I do want to turn on the radio.
A sudden wave of anxiety makes your skin crawl.
After you.
Before, outside, we were walking across the sand. I felt someone watching me.
So did I. Not back there, but I felt it since we came here.
What's there?
I don't know.
A thin wisp of smoke rises from a charred black fire pit.
I'm scared.
Don't be. I have a gun.
Me too.
I know. It was not easy to acquire.
Let's just you know. you know. Small white flowers. A broken rubber dinghy. A guy with a rifle.
An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
Are you the fire guy?
The what now?
Did you tell
I can't hear you.
Did you tell two kids to put out their fire? Two twins.
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position. Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
How did you know I was coming?
The boat engine. On the water. I did. I should have burned that console down. The boat engine. On the water.
Nice gun you got there.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
What make of rifle is that exactly?
It's a 3-Angong 446.
A samurai rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Xinyao commune. Military aid.
The Xinyao commune.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, white from the ball.
Sir, I need you to put down that gun so we can talk further. We're with the police.
The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
I am an enemy commander of rank. Put it down.
The words, "I am an enemy commander," sound cold as iron from your lungs. The old man still hugs his gun.
And what rank would that be, dog?
Lieutenant W. Freighter.
A big wheel of the 4th Regiment of the Pederast Army. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
Like an amputated limb in the sand.
Who are you?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross. Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
The Commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia. The army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in 08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed, and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
You've been on this island for 43 years. I like I like that's a medium logic check.
No. I've been on other islands too. I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was on E48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
You said you deserted your unit?
I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
Lapse of faith?
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took.
For what?
For reaction to take hold.
Yes, we all have a tiny bourgeois person inside us trying to run away.
He does not seemingly react to what you said. Only his right brow moves a little.
And this was when?
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Dark magic.
The combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower, huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
A terrible shame still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became.
What then?
I ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers underground, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened of the ordnance all night and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
What was that?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too. Shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
Seen what?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know.
Know what?
That the bourgeois are not human. I had to. I had to fight it. I had to never stop.
Again, you've been hiding here for 43 years?
43 years and 10 months.
That's steadfast.
It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
He just couldn't.
You couldn't give up.
He nods, but he can now.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people walk home. Street lights will soon be lit. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady. Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41. 2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean-Vic Mayer inspects giant letters across the plaza mosaic in dark red government-marked heavy fuel oil. Patrol officer Judith Minot points west. The fishing village. She glances at her watch. We meet in 15 minutes. It's a 10-minute walk. The officers go, leaving behind the writing, still smelling of petroleum. One day, it says, I will return to your side.
Always waiting.
For what?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl, child, revolution.
Girl child revolution.
Always.
She better come.
A waste. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
What is this place, this island?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
How have you survived all this time?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
What do you steal?
Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
Give him a break. He has, like, so much PTSD.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
We also have Druamine.
We have Dramamine and other painkillers. You must be in pain.
I have been running out of that stuff.
There's no way he could manage the pain without them. It's safe to say he is addicted to painkillers by now.
It's the little joys. The dark joke. A sunshiny day. Morphine.
This is a serious situation.
There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund.
How have you coped mentally?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of I don't even know what. Inferno?
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on, more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
How have you concealed yourself all these years?
It was hard in the tens. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course, Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequencies dead.
How'd you get between here and the mainland?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
The weapons cache under St. Ghislaine 22B. In the basement. Have you been there?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
They were damaged beyond use.
I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Killed themselves?
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Why don't you just walk to the city?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing. The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
You said this is your termless surrender.
You're with the RCM. The coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. A so-called Lieutenant W. Freighter.
I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM into a Mazovian revolutionary unit.
Rock and roll posturing. You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste Insolente. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
So you're a communist soldier from the communist army?
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
But you said you were trained and assigned to the Defense Corps.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Wait, what does a political commissar do?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the commune.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a night philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology, he was like a cleric, a shepherd.
So you were like a priest?
No, the opposite of that. A future human, not a human of the past.
So you're a trained communist, right?
He nods slowly. Then another tremor.
I'm also a communist.
No, you're not. You're a liberast.
Liberast?
A liberal and a pederast. It's what most liberals are.
I'm not a liberal. I told you I'm a communist.
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology. We have come to ask questions regarding a murder investigation.
The old man spits into the fire pit. He does not say anything more. A jitter passes his lower body. There's definitely something off with his body. Something more than just metabolism.
I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
What have you been using this gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The lieutenant smells it too.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while.
But what?
This is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Going straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
These are all easy. So which one do I say then?
Nothing comes to you, and in them, a chill, like electricity running up your spine, crawling into your skull.
What?
All is not as it seems.
Detective.
Damn it. Ask it already, he wants to say.
Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Grinnell?
The who now?
The corpse in ceramic armor hanging behind the whirling in rags. Did you shoot him?
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember.
We've done the ballistics. The shot came from this island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. You have been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
It's the best uninterrupted line of sight into that window in all of Martinez.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments. Anything.
What am I forgetting?
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh, yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here, and Maybells on Clausia's balcony. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Of course. Thank you, Head. Thank you.
You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal. Nothing else comes up. You see the lieutenant watch you. Try to stimulate thought processes by hitting yourself. I'm sorry, this didn't do anything. Usually hurting yourself does.
Also, wait, Orlov, when he said this, he's saying that the contractor was a fascist because he's dead, not that we're fascists.
Officer, a word?
Excuse us for a moment.
I think we may have this.
Do you think he did it?
From nothing to this in a day. This is good, Lieutenant Gefreiter. We just need a confession first, and then maybe a solid motive later.
What am I missing?
Well, I can think of one thing. The gun. We should pick it up and discuss it in front of him. Make a show of it.
How do you think the questioning is going?
Good. We are doing very good. He wants to confess, I can see that. We just need to pile it on a little more. The more we have on him, the closer he is.
You hear that? He thinks you're this close.
Okay, let's do this.
Remember, he wants to tell us, but he doesn't want to help us. It needs to look like we already have everything.
There is palpable excitement in his tone. He likes him for this. A lot. But there's something more, too. He thinks the deserter has more than just this case in him. 44 years here.
You think he has more than this case?
Oh, yes. And he hasn't spoken to anybody in a long time. If we get him open, who knows what will pour out.
Let's give Kim a little pat on the back. And then composure clothes.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who's spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild,
He is surprisingly okay.
indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
Animated by what?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system.
Dementia?
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile. Is it some kind of substance damage? Like he's addicted to something? Not only the painkillers he's clearly on.
Mr. Dross, are you on some kind of a psychoactive substance?
No. I won't be stuffed full of shit like the rest of this city.
You said you take painkillers.
I take them to cope with pain. The people of this city use painkillers because they have pain. Untreated illnesses. Not enough money for a greedy doctor.
It's not a downer, rather an upper, judging by his snaps.
Are you on amphetamines?
Like some kind of decadent rock star.
Mr. Dross, are you okay? How is your memory?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course. Could it be a symptom of overdosing on something? Something even you have not tried? Keep your eyes peeled.
Let's pick up the gun.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangon, 4.46 millimeter, made in Sinyao.
It's as he said, a triangong made in Sinyao.
Worn, personalized even. Looks like this weapon has seen a lot of use, hasn't it, sir?
No response from the old man. The plastic cape around his shoulders rustles in a small bout of wind.
This uses jacketed ammunition, 446.
Jacketed, military-grade ammunition. Stable in flight. Good for hitting something that's very, very far away.
As he speaks, he stresses every word. He's liking this. The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him later.
One more time, Mr. Dross, the Colonel. We need to talk about you killing him.
Petty bourgeois law. This is all you care about, right? The only thing in the world for you types.
Tear into him again. Pile it on him.
Maybells behind the victim's window. I saw them growing here.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinez. Only here.
They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
A young woman called Claudia. Ring any bells? Flowers like these were behind her window.
Claudia.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim?
There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. Almost. But you need one more. Just one. Or maybe two.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa? Some shit.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross.
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is called Sensory. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the side. These are not the unusual horizontal pattern soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
Wait, maybe it's simpler than that.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
People change shoes. Doesn't mean you weren't there, near the room the victim died in, sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. You've almost got him. Just the last little push.
I don't need your cooperation. I've got this.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistol. I've seen you prance around with that. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
You think we have the murder weapon, Kim?
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon.
Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder. Like a marionette on some invisible string.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
So you killed him?
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
And then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own, and so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle's scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
You pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
So you were jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing.
It seems like a ball cell to me. I'm sure. Look, if war crime boy over there got some booty, I'm pretty sure this guy could have if he wanted to. He just doesn't want to interact with literally any human being.
That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her covered in blood, to punish her.
You wanted to punish her, so you killed him.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
You stare at them too. In your mind, her innocence day still turns to leaf. Airport bag in hand, silks flowing in her wake.
This has nothing to do with that.
It's no good, Harry. Her voice rings in the evening air. It smells of burning buildings.
I'm not like that. I don't think like that.
No one gives a shit what you think. You and your cronies kill 10 working class men a day. I've heard the statistics on Channel 8.
How long had you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Feld building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night.
Past the Feld building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachevre.
This is the hidden buoy she told us about. You looked into it.
After she was gone.
Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
No. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
Alright, see you, Orlov. Have fun at work.
A little inconsistency. He was surprised to hear her name Claudia before. Would he not have seen it on the documents?
You saw her name on the passport, but before, when I said her name is Claudia, you didn't seem to recognize it.
It didn't say Claudia in there.
What did it say?
It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. I only remember her face on the photo.
Are you sure? We checked the submersible. There was nothing there.
Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villiers.
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time. Some kind of aberration of the nervous system.
Moving on, did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
The cloaca of capital.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
How did you see all this? The bruises that she was beaten?
I'm not blind, am I?
Reaction speed. No.
He must have climbed to the roof, maybe.
Dang it. How did you get close enough to see her bruises?
I have my ways.
You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
Thank God, the lieutenant is picking it up.
But that nook too?
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny, the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but
You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
You had feelings for that woman.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough. Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
There have been others?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No,
Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was this?
The day after I killed him.
And you brought her Maybells?
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
It's as if something put the thought there to leave the flowers.
A compulsion.
What do you mean, put?
A brief flash of terror.
I just got this feeling from what you said. Do you agree?
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you.
A sudden pang of rage.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more. One more down.
So, in conclusion, it wasn't about him, it was about her.
Her.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. That's it. Motive. We have it.
Where is she? That Clasier. I haven't seen her there for days.
She got away, but she let us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the sea fort.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, the oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lausanne's central aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the sky by a web of suspension wiring, encircled by hybrid aircraft.
Shake it off.
On the platform, a
Didn't
young woman
work.
is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, fading from your mind's eye. Across the water, on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village, made of grey cinder block houses with Eternite roofs, 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea.
Oh, okay. I thought that was about Harry's ex-wife, not about Claudia.
He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Satellite Officer Vitmere points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him. Special Consultant Heidelstam is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where? His voice trails off as the 3 walk down the jetty. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification like a rotten tooth rising out of the water. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? You could get more out of him. He likes talking. Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back.
More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries, pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare.
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals, like those boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
That all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Coyamorang, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children. That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell is now dead.
Now I have some questions about this.
We did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter.
Exactly. How can... I thought this guy was a good communist, and here he is, being all anti-disco sentiment.
Ask about that cock on parade, too. Make sure you get everything here.
You mentioned the Union is social democratic, and Mr. Clare a farce of a social democrat.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Who's a disappointment? Everett Clare?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
You mean Edgar, Everett's brother?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
You've talked to Edgar.
First against the wall with him.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was the man of the left. Wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
When was this?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clares came to power.
What did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzoff. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
And he let you be here?
Let me be here? The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
Mr. Dross, did you kill the Cornell mercenary for the Clares? To incite a riot?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
I know what's happening here. Can I leave? I don't know if I can leave and come back to a red check to get better clothes.
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
Doesn't matter. 20 years ago when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they?
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark then.
Who did?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation and money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
Bordering on sentimentality, it drips out of him, tempered by something familiar to you. A familiar rage.
And then she just disappeared.
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
Edgar had someone made the call. Make the call. Why is that, Mr. Dross?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is. The bend in the river.
Why?
Because she was dead. The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled? Hard to say. It was a sloppy job. And a moving target. She was going home. Waddling. Dressed in yellow. Drunk like she often was. The ruins were black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal. Heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins.
You shot her?
Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is...
Another big spike of rage. Different from the one he has for her.
Nothing changed. Not in the material base. Not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled. Sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal. If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, You could walk. We would track everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Goat shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
Okay then, that's that. But I know.
All you know is I saw it happen, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Her plump body bobbing up and down in that canal like a cork. That chick yellow bag still on her, strangling her.
The same old freezing hatred. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody, and the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Renee?
Every fucking morning for 34 years, throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot's plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A Patank maniac race traitor. I remember him. I remember him from Lanos. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one, that one. Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
He whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on longing.
You'd like to kill him?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bonbon melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later?
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think. No, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, Renee. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from
him? Yes, of course. Must be passing a kidney stone. I hope it's excruciating. At least it keeps him from throwing his balls.
He seems relieved. Could he have been worried for him? He reminds him of himself. The same hatred. The same. You try to think of another thing, but no. It's just the hatred. They are veterans of the same war. Somewhere west in Coal City, his enemy is lying in a dark room on a metal slider. In Luminaria Municipal, like he will too. Soon. Half of the war between these men is over. With an agitated gait, Satellite Officer Jean Heron Vichmer paces the jetty. 22 kilometers east in Martinez. What could he possibly be doing there for so long?
John, shut up. We're doing police work.
Police work? Patrol Officer Judith Minot replies, with a tinge of hope in her voice. A tinge of warmth, too, against the cold air rising from the water.
Okay. We need to start talking about your hatred for disco.
Horse. Glad? It's all gone.
Okay, yeah. Let's tell him about
Yes.
Renee.
Where is he? I hope he doesn't have debilitating arthritis or kidney stones. He can still come out to play with balls and get shot in the head, right?
Renee is dead. He died of old age a couple days ago.
No.
Yes.
I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
You had 1,000 chances to kill him.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust.
You cared about him.
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. Now, God damn this world.
Are you okay, Mr. Dross, to go on?
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure.
Glad we talked about what?
Yosef Leonovich Dross, you're under arrest for the murder of the Colonel Colonel here in Martinez.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But...
Kim, he's afraid.
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He's not afraid of jail. He's afraid of something else, like parting from a loved one.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Does it have room for 3?
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here, but...
But then, who watches him while you're coming back here?
This isn't a problem because we know the other ones are there. This is not a problem.
This is a problem. Who watches over him while I come back for you?
What is this farce? This is a fucking farce. I can't...
Something is happening. Stop. Lillian. You could ask her, maybe.
Maybe I can just ask that netpicker to watch him?
This is no harmless old man.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
You could come back for me once you've taken him to the precinct.
No. It would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
Maybe you're right. No need to be polite. I'll do it.
This world. What are you talking about? Is this... us?
Your skin is crawling suddenly.
I didn't do... Oh, I wasn't sure. I wouldn't have gotten the hearing check anyway. It was 8%. The Ansel Indian phasmid.
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
The giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand rise instinctively.
There is. I see it.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reed.
Kim, can you see it?
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If you can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence. Its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
We did it. We found the Insulindian phasmid.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
This is the Insulindian phasmid.
It is.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera.
Are you sure you won't shake it off? Scare it off?
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear. I am not palatable. Do not eat me. I am afraid.
It's afraid. Stop now.
I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture.
You see the phasmid turn to him, its mandible antennae reaching out. Its motions are quick, sudden.
Just listen to me.
Shh. Okay.
The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air. Slowly.
We can't just leave it stand.
You've never seen him get this excited. His voice is...
How was I supposed to know this would be an electrochemistry check? Say something to it quietly. Don't be afraid.
Nothing changes in the cyclical brain motion of the creature's limbs. They are porcelain white on the inside and reed-colored on the out. Beige, light brown, and striped. You are unsure if it is scared or not.
Yeah, that I literally can't get enough electrochemistry to matter. Yeah, that was going to happen. Maybe I should have let Kim take his picture.
You barely get to take one step. The invertebrate reacts with uncanny speed. Skating away across the water, it's gone, like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but rings on the sea's calm mirror. It's blending into the tufts of reeds in the distance, moving from islet to islet.
Where? Where did it go?
You never had a chance. There was something off the moment you approached it. It was scared of you, of humans.
I should have taken the pheromone.
I don't think it had anything to do with the oxprey. It was just scared.
Okay, you're probably right.
Am I? I don't know. I'm not an entomologist. Neither was the parascientist. The only thing I'm sure of is we saw it. It was real.
Think it went over to that islet?
Looks like it doesn't like to stay out in the open for long.
How did it do that? Glide?
It appears the insect can walk on water, like a water strider, you know? It's almost as fast. Uncanny.
Tell me you got the picture.
He shakes his head in silence, an expression on his face that you've never seen there before.
It's just a blur.
No.
Your voice echoes on the water.
What now?
What now?
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect's not looking so good. We should check him over. Also, it looks like it has some kind of nest there. Maybe there's proof in there.
In the reeds, where the phasmid was hiding, you see a little flash of white. Porcelain white.
A rifle scope. And is that the helmet? So he took the helmet.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something is very wrong with him now.
Sir, how could you not see the plasmid?
Mr. Drost?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets. His gap-toothed mouth shaking, like an addict of some terrible substance.
Touches or wave your hand in front of his eyes.
A light shiver passes him, followed by nothing. His hands are trembling, and he breathes slowly.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Drost?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
We found some things in the phasmid's nest, Mr. Drost.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should...
Show him the passport.
No reaction. This is an old man, at last. No longer a tin soldier, but the broken down remains of a man.
Let's have a closer look at that after. I think I'll be more useful than him.
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched, and his mouth open. The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bone.
Old age and shock.
Yes.
The appearance of the phasmid in conjunction with the stress of the arrest. He spent his entire life here. For him to leave would be... We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help.
Time to run. I don't care about walking anymore, Harry. You're gonna run and you're gonna like it. I think I'm gonna look up what happens to the phasmid after.
The skiff is swaying.
Let's. We are done here.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet. Two men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea is calm. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
I know that Pizza, when he played the game, did a very, electrochemistry. A very electrochemistry. I wonder if he got that to work. Hey, John, my boy.
I want to call you a teapot, but I'm honestly kind of impressed. No idea where you got all that gear, but there's no doubt in my mind that some bad, Bad people are looking for it. Also, you look like a fucking idiot.
Forget about all this. There's the Insulindian
We're
phasmid.
not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
The armor.
Oh, really? They don't seem bothered by it? That's because you're a cop in an exoskeleton.
Oh.
Yes, that has always explained it.
This is not the first time he's seen you all decked out in Weka.
Vic, calm down.
Who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heidelstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heidelstein, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us. We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
No, Kim, you've got to have my back. Let's destroy them.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
JJ, I have 4 electrochemistry, so of course I failed the Insulindian phasmid check.
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets.
Where have you been all this time?
God damn it, Harry. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die.
I said all those things? I'm not like that anymore.
Yes, you're sorry. You're the sorriest cop who ever lived. Nothing has changed, Harry. I've heard this repentance shit 1,000,000 times over.
You mentioned a task force?
Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Who else is in this?
Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Trent fucking Heidelstein, and Guillaume Baby.
I'm technically just a civilian advisor.
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show.
Yeah, first, who's Guillaume Bevy?
Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Tron because I'm forcing him to stay.
Okay, so what does the unit do?
Do? It's a major crimes unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
They're your posse, or what remains of it. Hand-picked, hand-lost.
The 41st isn't...
You're not the man with sunglasses at all. You're not even blonde.
Guilty as charged. I heard you'd lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it was true, and it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone else to rely on.
Okay, I had that coming.
Had what coming? Not recognizing people you work with every day. Brain damage.
How'd you know I was here?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
I understand. Okay, Gart told you.
And people on the street helped us too, with your whereabouts.
You're a legend among the drunks, Harry. A legendary local drunk.
None of this is ringing any bells.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia. A episodic and semantic. As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Method cop. Method cop. Wait, socioeconomically, you think I'm so poor I lost my memory?
Not when you phrase it like that. But I don't think critical theory. I know everyone thinks this is far-fetched pink academia, but still, I don't think it should be off the table here.
What? He lost his memory because of capitalism?
No, not like that. I'm not talking vrede for school here. But Harry, I asked you, what do you think happened?
I drank so much I lost my memory. And now I'm slowly recovering it.
He is. He's getting better. And I can confirm that he drank a lot of alcohol prior to it happening.
I believe he drank. People do that, especially this one. What they don't do is forget their whole life because of drinking.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
I have?
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mirror.
The two cases in your ledger, the unsolvable case and the next world mural, those were recent. Those cases were hard on you.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here. Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world table, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
Line detective is good for now.
For now? I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension?
They can keep that pension. You're rock solid. You can put your clothes on hard.
I can put my clothes on so hard you wouldn't believe. What now?
Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here. Yeah. Just stand there. It's cool.
Really?
No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
I drove it into the ocean when I was drunk.
Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
This badge?
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand.
I have so many points. Let's just make this a little bit more likely. I needed both of those points.
Not today, badge.
The drama is never unnecessary. Behold, my badge.
And your gun?
My gun is right here.
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone.
I quit drinking forever. It's only me in this boring hellhole now.
I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then, huh?
He's wounded. It's been a long week and he's handled an actual corpse.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a week. I'm sorry.
A bit of a week? You're drunk, and you let a suspect escape, a certain Glacier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the report, Sari. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
She gave us a vital clue that led us to the island.
Oh well, if she was nice. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect, who also escaped. Yeah, Ruby something, or the fact that you're Everclear's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote, compared to the 9 people who were gunned down. The streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals.
Here comes the cavalry.
He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
I also solved the case. It's solved. All of it.
Detective, it's better if I do that.
Sorry, Kim.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
He thinks of apologizing, but decides against it.
You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffrey Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize, profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an officer.
Oh no. Sorry cop isn't the way forward?
It's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Mazovian socio-economist. He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which, again, for a police officer, is a little odd. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I have seen, in fact.
What's the problem with me being a communist sorry cop? Kim.
He can talk human beings into telling him everything. And he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven.
I also saved that nightclub those kids are trying to set up there.
Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Kim, how do you know that? Did you hear me from your room in the whirling?
Okay, he did something.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect, 3 meters tall. It's on the island, camouflage as the reed. It unfolded from them. I did not, unfortunately, get a photo, but I believe it may have been the Insulindian phasmid. I know this sounds fantastic, but I'm a 4 times decorated lieutenant of the RCM. I do not make up encounters with cryptids to spice up my day. I am very, very sane.
I don't doubt you, Lieutenant. If you say it was the Insulindian phasmid, then it was the Insulindian phasmid. By God. Is it somehow connected to the case?
The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
It's probably not connected per se, but the perpetrator knew of its existence.
So it is connected.
We could order a search. I could get people from EPIS on the island, entomologists, doctors. There must be signs of it in the reeds. If we found the Insulindian phasmid, well,
That would be absolutely exceptional. The PR value alone.
Also, the phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest.
Female? What makes you think so?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female. And the nesting behavior too, I think.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
It had gathered items in its nest. A helmet, a scope, and a passport.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates.
I still think it was female.
Of course, as I said, I'm only guessing. I didn't see it. It must be robust if it can move a whole helmet with its limbs.
I think it reproduces by parthenogenesis.
As in cloning itself? What makes you think so?
Just a hunch.
Well, then it wouldn't matter if it's a male or female. The bower would just be rudimentary behavior from before the parthenogenetic mutation.
That makes sense, yes.
Very interesting. Such organisms are extremely vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the whole species. We're probably looking at conservation efforts here.
It had mandibles that looked like hair, and it was completely white on the inside.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs.
Incredible. It's a toughie that you don't have a photo. This would look very, very flashy in the papers. None of it says vigilante murderers to me at all. Great PR.
I tried to, but I only got a blur.
Ouch.
We can still work. Cop discovers new species in there. I know a good guy in La Majeste, but only after the École Supérieure people find it. This cannot be done by French people.
It needs to be white coats and glassware for this fly. We need professionals.
That'll make a certain cryptozoologist I know very angry.
In the mist-colored distance over the water, nothing moves. Not a trace of it. You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still. Quit while you're ahead? Or no?
The previous head of the Debarders Union was assassinated by our killer.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the...
Oh no.
Eyes, too. Your return from the island must not have gone unnoticed.
Understood, of course.
But a case against Everard would be big.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality.
So what do you want to say? Want to take this hot shit back?
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to. Jude.
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
You haven't been drinking, she thinks. So, maybe this time.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Now you will finally get to know who you are.
Wait, I have a few questions before we go. About who I am.
The man looks westward, impatiently.
Why am I like this?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
You really went with it too. Really maximized the damage.
Some chick. Who?
Dora something. Dora England. Yeah, you mentioned the name.
Not Dora Dubois.
So we weren't even married.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
When was this?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago? She was way before my time.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it? What the hell is wrong with you?
6 years?
Yeah. Or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora England really tore you a new one. A big one.
Now I've heard enough.
So have I. You bitterly dropped Dearest Dora and really tore me a new one. Twice a week, I think. It comes up.
The special consultant glances at his wristwatch.
Okay, am I a dirty cop working for La Puta Madre?
No.
Okay then.
Talks concluded.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi, what will you do now?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
About what?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
Distant traffic. A scrap of newspaper drifts by, carried by the wind.
You want to do that at Station 41?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering.
No, I meant investigate. Come work in Precinct 41.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
Would fit in. Am crazy enough. Can take the stress.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even consider...
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
Yes. What kind of station is 41?
Us. We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? We're the bad guys. No one likes us.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You are just understaffed. And everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Get back to it. We left Torsen and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good.
Did we recently shoot up a church by any chance?
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a raid on some churches. It wasn't good press.
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
What happened?
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now. You have to wait for it to go up.
He means it. The RCM and its enemies will not be discussed on this coast.
And Price is...
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price, one of the founders of the RCM.
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the force. You're lucky.
Somewhere under the curved roof of a former silk factory, shaped like a ladybird with two chimneys, Police Captain Ptolemy Price sits behind a heavy wooden desk. Resident medic Nix Gottlieb pours him coffee. It's silent in the captain's office. They speak of change, the city, the tension on the streets. They speak of the events of April and the blood on the streets in May.
Torsen and McLean?
Mac the Torso Torsen and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me. Things are shaky as it is.
And the Sea Wing is...
God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task force. It was a mistake.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me. Other losers too.
He's anything but a loser, although he would like to be seen as one. It's cooler that way.
So I work in the Bloody Murder Station.
Okay, it's not the Bloody Murder Station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people work there, hard, every day.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Revachol. Faubourg, technically, but it's divided into 11 districts. Jamrock only has us.
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it.
Thank you again, Lieutenant.
I'm ready.
Good.
Fuck it, let's go. Tron brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
Under the afternoon sky, the great district hums. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, and chimney stacks. Fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Precinct 41, to Boogie Street, forking into the snow-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmer? Yes. Dubois? Of course. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomny Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the people. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow? Of course.
Yeah, I'll side with the people, not the cops.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
Whoa. I never got to show off to those kids how much communism I knew. I never got to ask if women were bourgeois. I never even got to ask him if he was gay. What's the point? Still, good game. We can't get the devs too drunk though, because then they'll forget that the game ever existed. So many voices. Wait. Someone voiced both the Insulindian phasmid and the Pale Latitude compressor? Does that mean, like, voice acted or, like, provided voice for? Oh, right, because that was that part where it spoke in, like, numbers and stuff, so I guess that is voicing. Did the Insulindian phasmid talk, or is that the narration of the Insulindian phasmid? BR. If I were Brazilian, I would have the Brazilian role in JJ's Discord. I don't, therefore I can't be Brazilian. It's just how it works. There really are so many credits. Seems like that's it then. It was a time. Alright. I'm gonna take the stream down then. Thanks everyone for watching. If I feel like it, I might stream Tales later. But only after I go outside and potentially rock climb if they fixed all the tree situation. For anyone who doesn't know, there was a storm about a week ago. Broke a lot of trees. And so some of those trees were near the rock wall. So I wasn't able to do that for the rest of the week, which is sad. But I'm going today to check, and if not, I'll just like, I don't know, go to Target and buy some snacks or something. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Oh, it's nice seeing all of this from the opposite angle that the isometric does. I never realized that. And we can actually like see the rest of Revachol in the background, not just the one like slum area over here. We can see why it's such a major city with the aerostatics hovering overhead and everything. It's pretty cool. All right, see ya.